Inside Out 2, the sequel to Inside Out, which was my favourite film of 2015. The original, I said it was like a high-tech version of that old Beano comic strip, The Numbskulls, because the action takes place in the head of the protagonist, which is the 11-year-old Riley. Personified forces of anger, sadness, happiness, disgust, fear, doing battle for control of the emotions. Dazzling stuff, hilarious, heartbreaking, really, really profound and brilliant. So the original was directed and co-written by Pete Docter, who here becomes an exec, handing over the directorial reins to Kelsey Mann, who's a first-timer. So Amy Poehler is back as Joy, Phyllis Smith as Sadness, Lewis Black as Anger, Diane Lane and Carl McLachlan back as Mr. and Mrs. Anderson. Some other characters haven't returned. Apparently there was stuff about negotiations on how much everybody got paid. Anyway, the story is that there's a button on the console of Riley's brain which says puberty, which is about to be hit. Also, Riley about to move up to a new school, so we meet her on the ice hockey pitch where all the old emotions, anger, sadness, joy, are on display. She and two friends are invited to go on a camp for hockey players. Sounds great. Actually turns out to be a source of conflict because her old friends are going to go to a different school. She meets new people that she wants to impress. She's desperate to prove herself. She's racked with insecurity. And all this is demonstrated internally by the arrival of a wrecking crew who demolish headquarters to make room for a whole bunch of new emotions while treating the old emotions as if they are old news. Here's a clip.
I am truly sorry. I was so looking forward to working with you guys. What do you think you're doing? Riley's life is more complex now. It requires more sophisticated emotions than all of you. You just aren't what she needs anymore, Joy.
How dare you, madam?
You can't just bottle us up. Oh, that's a great idea. It's not forever. It's just until Riley makes varsity or until she turns 18 or maybe forever. I don't know. We'll have to see.
So the new adolescent emotions, anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and ennui. Adele Exarchopoulos as ennui. So here's the thing. So the first film had a really brilliant simplicity to it that masked just how complex it was. I mean, it worked, and it worked because it was as deep as it was accessible. This throws a ton of more confusing, conflicted emotions into the mix. I mean, the fact that ennui, as I said, Adele Exarchopoulos, yeah, ennui. And it's perhaps fitting, therefore, and probably appropriate that a film about the teen years and about adolescence is harder to get on with than a film about childhood years. So what you lose is that thing that the original had, which is just that you look at it, you go, yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. That is exactly what the conflict of emotions is like. Although, I mean, there are plenty of moments when if you're a parent, there are things that you see happening to the Riley character that you go, yeah, that's exactly what happens in adolescence. And of course, you know, if you're closer to your own adolescence, you'll probably recognize those things as well. I mean, people always cite that thing in the Kevin sketch when it's Kevin's birthday, when he's about to go from 12 to 13, and suddenly overnight he becomes horrible. As before in the first film, there's a quest. They have to get to the back of Riley's mind where Riley's sense of self has been sent along with some bad memories. And then en route, there's the stream of consciousness that they have to float down, which at one point gets broken up by the sarcasm,
very
which
good.
is a big,
yes,
very good, a big chasm which separates you from everybody else. And there's also this time Riley's belief system. There's a kind of like a self-authored belief system. So look, there's plenty of sharp moments. There's also a sense of too much going on. But again, that may well be appropriate for a film about adolescence in which, you know, anyone close enough to remember it. Well, the whole problem with it is there's too much going on. It's not clear cut in the way that the earlier life is. Being me, I particularly enjoyed the spectre of anxiety turning into a whirlwind that just burns everything up and can't stop and just overpowers everything. I was really entertained by the idea of ennui being a French, and there's also a very funny cameo by June Squibb as Nostalgia, who keeps knocking at the door going, do you remember when? They go, no, not yet. So, I mean, it's not the classic that the original was, but I think that has got to do with the fact that adolescence is completely different to childhood. I think there are also, like anyone who's dealt with being in a house with adolescents, or being an adolescent themselves, in the end, the film is lovable. In the film, and the film reduced me to tears. Of course, it did. Like I said, it's not. It doesn't have the classic, simple, straight lines of the original. And the thing about the original was I just thought anyone can watch this and anyone can understand this film because it's like the classic fairy tales. This isn't like that. But I think that's probably because of the years that it's dealing with. And, it's pretty good. It's just Inside Out was perfect. But then, adolescence is a lot of things, and perfect isn't one of them.
I think you have intrigued enough for people to think, yeah, I think that's going to be worth seeing, and then maybe worth seeing a second time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's definitely worth seeing. Definitely, yeah, yes. And my suspicion is that it'll be one of those things that the more you watch it, the more you'll see in it. As I said, again, the genius of Inside Out, the first one, was literally the first viewing. I thought, okay, this is like David Cronenberg's Crash or A Matter of Life and Death. It is a film which is perfect. There is nothing wrong with it. And I didn't get that with this. But again, as I keep saying, that kind of is fitting in a film which is dealing with adolescence rather than childhood.